Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. We're so glad to be here on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Well, at least it's Tuesday morning in the United States where I'm from. Um, Welcome to Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail. That would be me and friends. And our friend today is Mary Kay. Mary, hi, Mary. Mary is a community member. She has lipedema. We're going to find out all about her and her story. I see that we have 7 people who are watching us already. Please make sure that you say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're from. Let us know whatever you want to about yourself, and have questions for me and for Mary. Make sure you put those in the chat, or in the comments. I always call it chat because we work so much on Zoom and it's called chat. But just make sure that you say hi to us. I love to think about people who don't ever say hi, and I hope that they're there, because there are so many names that I often recognize. But this is the fourth Tuesday of the month, and the fourth Tuesday of the month we go early. So we're here at 7 Mountain Time. um, for and so that way we can get you here. If you're in Europe, you get to see us easier, or Africa, and we also get to do our things that we usually do on Tuesday nights. We get to do those instead of rescheduling those things. So I see that Zelda's here. She's from Nova Scotia, so it's not so bright and early for her, and she says that she loves these chats. Thanks, Zelda. I'm so glad you're here too. Okay, now that I've done all this talking, Mary, welcome. I'm so glad to see you this
I
morning.
am glad to be here. Thanks, Gail.
So, Mary, we were talking before about where we find information, and where, how we get started. So many of us, I would like to say, in later life, and I know that that's almost ridiculous to say in later life because we're here, right? This is life now. But
Mhm.
in our later life, after we've had um, a chance to get to go around the block a few times, we discover we have lipedema. Um, and many of us don't discover it ever, right? I mean, we've lived with it. Our grandmothers, aunts, so many people in our family have never discovered they had lipedema, because it's so unknown, although it's prevalent. So, how did you discover that you had lipedema?
Well, I had reached a point where I just didn't understand why I was so much larger from the waist down and pretty much normal size from the waist up. And the weight loss was hard, and so I just sat down and Googled one day, why am I so large from the waist down and small from the waist up? And Lipedema Simplified came up with pictures. And I looked at the pictures and I was just shocked because that was my body. And after I discovered that, I became insatiable as far as researching, and this was back when Lipedema Simplified was just getting off the ground. And being an introvert, I just kind of stayed in the background and read and researched and listened and went to everything I could and joined the classes I could. And I went through a real, almost depressive period where I was terrified, absolutely terrified, because I didn't like that word chronic illness. And I didn't like that word, you can't improve on it. But I did hang on to the fact that you can stop the progression. So I have to say, if it were not for Lipedema Simplified, I would be lost, because as most of us know, doctors don't know anything about this. I back in my 40s, in the 90s, I lost probably 40 pounds. I weighed about 140 pounds. And I went in and had a hysterectomy. And I'll tell you, right after the hysterectomy, all the weight came back on with a vengeance, plus more. And I never lost it again. And I just realized that in the last 6 months to a year, looking back, going, where did I see changes? Where did I see and not one doctor ever mentioned it, because in their defense, they don't know anything about it. And so I started, participating in the Lipedema Simplified, and I probably, so this was about, is that 3-4 years ago that Lipedema Simplified got started?
Lipedema Simplified's been around for quite a while, actually. Um, I think it started in, uh, I want to say 2015. I mean, it's
Okay.
quite a while, but it didn't become prevalent until we started really um, getting um, the Zoom meetings going with the pandemic. So in
Yes.
2020 is when the tribe started, but all of 2019, I went to Lipedema Simplified events during Lipedema Awareness Month, which is June, which
Mhm.
is coming up.
Yeah.
Not so fast. I mean, it feels like it's coming up fast to me because here we are in 2023, right?
Yeah.
So we look at it being about 4 or 5 years old, but
Mhm.
but I know that, Catherine Seo, our founder, has been, doing this for
Mhm.
quite a while, and we're morphing. We're whatever the community wants, that's what we give the community, so we keep listening,
Yeah.
right? Keep listening, and so we're changing, and we're growing, and things like that, and so, Maya here says, are they taking questions? And yes, we will take some questions. That doesn't mean we can answer your questions, but we are, we're not able to. We might have to go, we don't know. Anybody? But yeah, we will be taking some questions. Before we go on, I just want to say hi to everybody who's here. Zelda's
Yes.
here from Canada, and Stephanie's here from Florida. um, Denise is here. She's from Scotland. This is her first time here. Welcome, Denise.
Yay.
She's just been diagnosed. Our hearts are with you. Lisa's here. She's from Downington. Hello, Lisa. It's good to see you again. Um, Maya's here. Maya Kaz is here, and and Maya. I do want to let you know, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I do want to let you know that if you have questions, she's from she's from Kansas City, Missouri, and she came from Santa Rosa, California. So Santa Rosa, California. Hello, hello, hello. You got out of the drought and you got out of the rain. And Lori is here from Connecticut. So we have viewers from all over the world, all over the United States here with us today, because lipedema is all over the world. We're here, right? Um, and so we are a global community, and it's not just us. It's not just you and me. I mean, we're everywhere. Um, and oh, look, Solahog's hedgehog Rescue Center. Hi, Allison. She's from England. I want to say Solihull in England. Hello. Mwah, mwah. I'm glad you're here also. So I'm glad that our European friends are here. So with that, Mary, I remember meeting you for the first time, and I was blown away by your story. You would ask questions, and I'm looking at you thinking, from the shoulders, from the armpits up, this is how we look.
Mhm.
But we also kind of can imagine what we look like from the waist down.
Mhm.
We don't know because we don't show that part of ourselves. So in a way, we limit ourselves, right? We kind of ignore our lower half so often.
Mhm.
Like we don't want it. We don't claim it.
Mhm. We
We
don't
act,
see it.
we don't see
I
it.
don't see it.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Mm-mm.
So what kind of things have you done or have put aside? I guess I should say, what kind of things have you put aside because of your lipedema?
Well, one that just popped into my head is I have not worn shorts for most of my adult life. And we'll be in the heat of the summer, it's 80 degrees, and people will say, why aren't you wearing shorts? Aren't you hot? And I want to just say, mind your own business. I don't want to explain why I'm not wearing shorts.
Yeah,
I just say I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable in shorts, which is the truth. I'm not.
right.
And they say, well, people don't care. Well, they've not seen my lower half.
Yeah,
And I'm okay with that. I do what makes me comfortable. Um, now, ironically, I am downsizing. I'm in the process of packing up my house, downsizing half of everything, selling my house and moving to an apartment. Because this has shown me that I have to decrease the stresses in my life. And taking care of a house, I've taken care of my own house for 22 years and I'm tired and I do my own snow blowing and everything else. And but the wonderful part is this apartment complex has a pool in it. And I live in Duluth, Minnesota. We don't have pools here.
right,
I mean, there are no outdoor pools to speak of because you could only use it for 3 months out of the year.
right.
And this year, maybe 2. It's April and we've got a snowstorm coming the end of
Right,
this week. So it's like,
yeah,
but I can go in that pool every single day. And I've bought swim leggings. So my legs are covered up. I feel perfectly fine with them. I've bought a swim top that goes down past my hips and upper thighs. And I truly have reached a point in my life where I don't care what someone else's reaction is, but I will be comfortable now that I've got these swim leggings. And I mean, the pool is right there in the building. And I've heard such rave reviews of people using a pool and that it's almost the number one self-care treatment that is very successful for most, if
right,
not all.
yeah.
So that's
Where did
exciting.
before you go on, where did you get your swim leggings?
I got them at, I think it's called Coolibar, COOLIBAR.com. So they're Coolibar.
Oh, that's interesting. Now,
And
are they
they're
full length leggings or they're
they're full
between?
length and they come over your foot. So
Oh,
there's a hole where your heel fits in, and then it covers your foot to the base of your toes. Pretty much like the Caesarless leggings come over your heel and down to your toes. So they don't come up, they don't move around, they're held down on your legs by your feet.
yeah, like a stirrup,
Like a
right?
stirrup. Yeah, and it's even more than a stirrup. A stirrup would be like this wide,
Yeah,
it's like this wide from your heel to your toes.
nice.
And they're a nice spandex. They're tight enough to feel like things are held still, but they're not as tight as the Caesarless or a legging, compression legging.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm thrilled, um, because I wouldn't feel comfortable with just a bathing suit because my legs move around too much and it would be very uncomfortable to me in the pool. So this just kind of holds everything still.
Right. And it's not just being in the pool, but it's the journey from the shower room,
Yes.
or it's that it's that 10 feet
Mhm,
from coming out of that door to getting
mhm,
into the pool,
mhm.
right?
Yep.
That's like the longest 10 feet
It's
in your
like
life.
wearing a towel wrapped around you that goes to your ankles and then not taking it off till you're just about stepping into the pool
Right.
so
It's
no
that
one can see you.
right. That's that scary, "Oh my
Yes.
god, I've gotta get in the pool" time,
Yeah.
is that distance, and knowing full well in a regular one piece in a tank suit, knowing full well that those legs are coming and you're showing those legs, and
Mhm,
even though know we know in our hearts, deep down inside, "This is lipedema, this is not my fault, this is"
mhm,
all of those things. There's a panic for
mhm.
so many of us that our legs are going to be exposed for 10 feet, and then we have to get out of the pool with all that water sheathing off of us,
Mhm.
before we get the towel wrapped around our hips again.
Exactly,
And so
exactly.
the leggings are huge
Mhm, mhm,
benefit,
mhm.
emotional peace,
Yeah, and
right?
they're very comfortable. Um, and I don't even remember how much they were. They're not cheap, but they'll last forever. They're not something they can't get snagged. It's not that kind of a, like even my leggings will get a snag or a little hole in them if I'm not careful with my fingernails.
Right.
And these are I don't think I'll ever have to buy another pair.
Oh, wow.
Because they're just sturdy. And
Yeah. And
so I'm
are they easy to put on?
very like an exercise legging.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So they're very, very easy. Um,
I wanna show you this comment from Denise. She says Definitely, I thought about taking my grandchild to walk in front of me and hide me. Didn't get I don't get to swim with him because of this." Right.
yeah.
And I wear swim capris that go right down just below my knees. They're
Mhm,
called shorts. The ones I buy are called shorts, but they're definitely they go down past my knees, and I'm 5'9", so they're definitely a capri,
mhm,
right? And they've given me peace to get in the
mhm. Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for. Just the piece so that I will get in the pool and do it. And I want to say thank you, Maya, for telling me that you downsized 2 years ago and you love it because I'm terrified. And this is huge. I've never lived in an apartment. So, but the fact there's a pool and as you said, it's a small enough space to live in comfortably, but it gets us out of our space into like this place has amenities like places to go sit, little living rooms throughout the apartment complex. And it's also a great place to go walking. Um, I'd love to be. I'm a walker wannabe, but I don't do it here in the house because in the dead of winter, there's ice everywhere. But the building is so big, you can use the stairwell and just keep going up a floor and go across to the next stairwell, go up a floor, go across to the next stairwell, and really get more exercise. And so I think from a lipedema standpoint, it's a very good move for me, and it'll get me around people because
Yeah.
it's yeah, it'll be good. So thanks for sharing that, Maya. I appreciate that.
A community gives us hope, don't they?
On many levels. Yes, on many levels.
So so one of the things that you used to not do, that you are going to be doing now, is using the pool.
Mhm.
What other types of things have you I mean, what other things have you not done because of the lipedema?
Um, well, I've not been a swimmer in public, in my pretty much my whole adult life, unless it's just my immediate family. Um, I love to swim. I love getting in a cold lake. And I got the leggings. My daughters and I went to Florida 2 years ago, last year maybe, I don't know. And I bought the leggings because we had a pool accessible to us. And it was a game changer because I didn't even feel self-conscious walking around in them because I will walk around in my Caesar's leggings with a tunic on. And I told my daughters, "Can I wear these leggings outside the house?" And of course, mom, they look fine. You look great. So that's been helpful um, to bring
Oh,
down some of that self-consciousness that comes along with it. And um,
okay. So we don't usually promote a brand, but we do want Eileen wants us to know, the company. So
can
I'm just gonna put, COOLIBAR.com,
yeah,
right?
let me make sure here. COOLIBAR. Yeah, it is Coolabar.
Okay,
So
and
COOLIBAR.
yeah, and I know that for me, I wear a brand called Private Island Hawaii,
Mm.
and they have a cute colorful stripe. They come in many colors. I just bought my new they have matching tops,
Oh,
matching
cute.
tankini tops. And so this is the place where Mary got her swim leggings. I you can find if you go online and just put swim leggings,
Right.
or swim capris, you can find all kinds of things. You can also call it rash guards. Use plus size swim capri, or plus size long leg swim. I mean, just Google almost anything that way, and you will be able to find some. Because I have other brands that I've purchased, but the problem with the other brands that I purchased, they don't necessarily fit my body right. So you might have to do some searching,
Mhm.
and like some people say, "I don't care anymore. I wear a bikini top." Um, and things like that. So, so our hedgehog rescuer, she says, "I wear a swim dress, a bra, or a swim skirt and bikini top. I don't care what others think anymore. They may live to regret sneering." Well, of course, there you go. They may live to regret sneering. I think for so many of us, is for so many of us, it's our own personal disdain that we have to overcome ourselves. So,
Mhm.
like Mary, you said, you've gotten to that point where it's like, hey, it's time to move on from worrying about all of this
Mhm.
stuff. But for me personally, what I have a hard time with is it's an awful term, the thigh rub.
Mhm.
You know, it's painful.
Mhm.
It gets a little damp, pretty soon I've got chafing, and for me, that's when I first started wearing the swim capris, because I can just wear them normal and then just throw off my shirt and climb in the pool, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
But, Like here, Bobby says, um, I never thought to cover my legs. I've had them at large size all my life. People did make thoughtless comments, but she shrugs them off. Oh, what a wonderful way to be a friend to your body,
Mhm.
right? That's a wonderful way to be a friend to our body. So, each one of us are in a different stage of how
Mhm.
we accept our bodies or how we've accepted people talking to us about our bodies. And I'm so grateful that so many of us are um, resilient and we've made it through so many mean comments, so many tearing ourselves down for so long, or other people tearing us down. So thank you, Bobby, for sharing that. Okay, let's continue. um, so, so with the downsizing, what have you discovered about your life as you downsize?
I've always been a tiny house wannabe,
Uh-huh.
and not quite, as tiny as a tiny house truly is. The apartment's maybe 1,000, 1,200 square feet, so I have room for my family, my little ones. Um, but in looking at pictures, I I I found some old pictures of myself, and I thought, oh my word, I've I've been this size all my life. See, and that's what I say. I don't see it. I don't see the width of my hips until I was going through everything and saw these pictures. And I kept finding more from different time periods. And I thought, wow, I'm big. And because I don't pay attention to it, I don't see it. I just ignored it. And now I have finally come to accept it. As I say, in the beginning, I was terrified. I was it's kind of like a grieving that it's something you can't change.
Yeah. Now,
And
do you have an official diagnosis?
yes and no. I
I
went to
told
my
you earlier.
internal yeah, I went to my internal med, and I had my paperwork and everything that I'd run off, and I said, "I believe I have lipedema." I was fully clothed. I had compression knee socks on, was sitting on the bench. She came over and she put her finger on my ankle, just tapped my ankle and took it away and said, "I'll refer you to a physical therapist that handles lymphedema." And then she would have no further discussion with me.
Oh my
None. And I mean none. I left that office feeling dismissed and unheard and less than. Um, and I think that's when it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. That's when I actually joined the tribe, because I thought this is the only place at this present moment that I'm going to get the help and the knowledge and the research I need, because I'm not going to find it in my medical community. And they still have lymphedema on my records. And next time I go in, I'm taking the standard of care and saying, lipedema is a thing. There's a standard of care. Would you please change my medical record? Because I don't have lymphedema. And so it was so discouraging and disheartening. And so I did go to the physical therapist. She knew nothing about lipedema. She knew nothing about the ketogenic diet and how it can help. She handles more lymphedema after surgeries. But she slowly became open. I brought her Leslie's book. I ran off the whole book and brought it to her. I gave her the standard of care. I think she was still on the fence. But I now go to her only 4 times a year because Medicare won't cover it more often than that, because I'm not sick enough. They don't cover maintenance. They only cover you if you're getting worse. So, in order to get to go more often, I have to shirk my self care so that I get worse, and then I can go in and get it paid for.
Oh, that's that is the most ridiculous thing,
It's
right?
ridiculous. And she said, we don't, insurance doesn't cover maintenance. And that's the name of the game for lipedema. We have to do our self care to maintain our
Right.
where we are. No, that doctor has since I got a letter in the mail today that she's leaving, so there'll be new doctors, and that'll be teaching them again, bringing all the documents in again. And I've resigned myself to that fact. Fortunately, I have nothing major that requires medical help right now with the lipedema. And so I still cling to the tribe and Leslie's research and everybody's knowledge and fellow community members. I mean, just this morning, I've learned all kinds of things from those that are attending. And that's where I learn what to try. And
And Mary, I wanna say we're getting comments who say, "What's happened between the patient and the doctor?" Right? I mean, what's happened to that relationship?
it's not there. They're so in their defense, they've all got quotas they have to meet. They have to see a certain number of patients every day. They have to only spend whatever 10 or 15 minutes in each patient's room. Um, yeah, it's bleak. It's there isn't rare. You do find the rare case where you actually find a physician who isn't standing by the door with the door, with her hand on the door bell, so or the
Yeah.
doorknob, waiting to leave.
Isn't that the craziest thing? It's kinda you can feel that, can't you? When they're like, "Okay, I've been in here my timer's gone off on my watch or whatever. I gotta get out of here for the next person." Because
Right.
we sit out in the waiting room waiting thinking, "Why I've been here on time. Why can the doctor not be on time?" And then we get in there and they don't have any time for us because they don't have any time for anybody.
Exactly. Exactly. And they don't have time to learn about it either. And obesity and overweight people have been dismissed for years, as unimportant. If you just stop putting food in your mouth and if you just move more, you wouldn't have this problem. And I can't deal with it
Right,
because it's your problem and your fault. So it's very frustrating.
right.
Um,
We yeah, it is, and, we're gonna take another question here, um, from Eileen, and because this is another frustration, and I know that we want you guys to know that there's hope, but we don't know what we don't know where to go to find that hope, and so this is a question, what do you do when you're in pain and you're not able to wear certain clothes, compression, whatever? What do you do, Mary?
I am fortunate that I have not entered the pain stage yet. Um, so I find I do get pain on the fat pads on the inside of my knees, but wearing compression really helps because they don't move around then, and they are held still and compressed. Um, and uh, Watching my diet. I will have pain if I go back into eating processed foods and carbs and sugar. Then my joints hurt and the lipedema is more painful. But within 3 days of cleaning everything up, the pain goes away. So I can't really address it from a standpoint of lipedema pain because fortunately, right now, I don't have a lot of that.
Yeah. I can say for me, um, I had I had a flare. I've heard people talking about, "Oh, I'm in the middle of a flare. I'm having a lipedema flare." I had no idea what that was. It's like my short-term memory or my long-term memory disappeared for a while, and I didn't realize that I lived in a flare for years and years and years and years and years until I gave up grains. Once I gave up grains, about 3 weeks into giving up grains, I realized my legs didn't hurt anymore. I thought, "Oh," because I used to wake up in the morning going, "I am gonna be in pain the rest of my life. I'm gonna have to," because it hurt. And I didn't realize that because I gave up grains before I found out I had lipedema, right? I'd given up grains in 2017 and didn't find out I had lipedema until 2019. So I was in a flare and I went to my physical therapist and I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, this is what the community's talking about." I looked at my diet. I didn't have any grains in there. I had very, very little sugar. I mean, like minute amounts of sugar in this and that. And I wasn't eating processed foods. And I thought, why am I in a flare? Well, stress. I've been under a lot of stress this winter with my husband's health issues, and I am dealing with a lot of stress. I actually went to a doctor and said, "What's wrong with my legs? They hurt." And he's looking at me going, "You know more about lymphedema than I do." And it was like, I'm in a flare. Oh my gosh, and my doctor doesn't know what to do. You know what he said to me? He was the kindest man. I went to urgent care. That's what kind of panic I was in. Urgent care for my lipedema. I mean, I had never done that. He says to me, "Of all your healthcare professionals that you have, who gives you the most relief?" And I said, "My physical therapist." And he said, "Make an appointment and tell them that you hurt all over." Because I did. I went into him. I said, "I hurt all over from my waist down." I said, "The only place that with lipedema that doesn't hurt right now are my arms, but they're getting bigger." And he said to me, "You tell your physical therapist what you told me." And I did. I just said, "Help me." And so that was 3 weeks ago. And I was on her table yesterday, and my legs are smaller, my ankles are back to where they need to be. But I had to break down and be vulnerable and say, "Help me through this." And so I've been seeing her every other day. Now, that's expensive, but he said, "I will refer you to her for however long you want me to refer you to her for." Because I was just in that panic mode. Like, it's getting worse. And so she has done some really good work for me, but I see her every other day, which takes time, it takes money. And finally, I can tell you if my flare isn't over, it's in control. And all I had to do was tell her, I don't know, and she doesn't know that much about manual lymph drainage. But she knows enough and she's done it enough. She's done massage, like circulation massage enough. She could help. And she puts me on cooling compression pads and think I mean, she does some amazing work. But hi. I had a grandchild come in. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
Good. Did you hear me cry last
I did hear you cry, honey. Are you feeling better? Okay, good. So anyway, the thank you for letting Gail talk. You know, um, so we have another couple of questions, um, and one of them says nightshades can cause severe body aches and joint pain from Stephanie. Angela says she can't even find someone to perform lymphatic massage. Maya says she was on keto for a year and then went BBB&E, which is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And that is my favorite way of eating. I feel best on BBB&E. Yep. And the pain's gone. It's amazing. And she says she uses her vibration plate twice a day. So then on those questions, Mary, what are some of the we call them conservative treatments that you do?
Well, I tried the vibration plate and I loved it. When I finished, I could feel my lymph just tingling all through my legs. But then I did further research and I have an ankle that has a plate and 8 screws in it. And they said you shouldn't use it if you have hardware because you're vibrating that hardware. And so I thought, oh, because I loved it. But I thought, oh, well, I just have to do other stuff. So I did get rid of my vibration plate, but I loved it. And I could actually feel the lymph moving. I was going to say, the pneumatic pump. I have a LymphaPress, and I'm forever grateful for the physical therapist I started going to because she greased the trail for me to get it. There again, insurance will only cover from the groin down. It'll only cover legs. They won't cover the trunk. So you can't get a full pant LymphaPress covered by insurance. So what she did was she broke it in two. She ordered the legs to be covered by Medicare, and then I paid for the pants part. And of course, they're all one piece. But I love it. It feels so good, and it's just been a godsend. I try to use it once a day, sometimes twice a day. And I can feel if I miss a couple days in a row.
Yeah, and so my physical therapist doesn't have like a LymphaPress. She just has compression wraps
Mhm,
that compression pneumatic pump compression wraps.
mhm.
Hers are chilled because she uses them for other
Mm,
injuries, right?
yeah.
And so yesterday she says to me, "Do you want to do the compression, the chilled compression?" I'm like, "That's why I'm here." I only come to see you for those because I don't have a pump. But oh my goodness gracious, I love that, and it's made me realize I need to get myself a pump.
I can't say enough about it, and I don't mean to do a commercial for LymphaPress, but the ease of putting it on by yourself it's simple. It takes 30 seconds to get in it, zip it up, and hit the button.
Well, actually, you can do a commercial for LymphaPress because
Well, they do sponsor us.
they're sponsoring us. In fact, they're going to be on the 3-day Heart to Heart as a
Yeah.
sponsor, so it's
Well,
okay.
as I say, the ease of getting into it by yourself and zipping it up and pushing the button. And it's my 1 hour of, if I'm super tired, I'll just lay there and enjoy it. Or you can be on your phone, you can read a book, you can listen to a podcast that you can
Watch
just
my show.
watch shows. It's really a great time out, and it's like, at first it was like, oh, I got to do that for an hour a day, and now it's like I can't wait. That's my hour
Yeah.
to just zone out. And and at first when I started using it, I was not opening up all of my lymph areas. The what do they call them? The passageways, the drains, the lymph drains behind the knee, the groin, the belly. And I've started doing that just recently, and I think I can tell a bit of a difference. but I can't, the press is wonderful. And I think I ended up paying maybe $300, and they're pretty
Wow.
pricey, but my insurance covered the legs, or Medicare covered the legs. So I just had to pay for the and it's all one piece. So it's really silly that you're paying for the trunk when that's all attached. It's like a pair of pants that goes up to under your breast, but she had to break it in two so they would cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's great.
And so with the I know that my insurance told me it was a $2,800 copay, and I went, "Yeah, no, it's not worth it." But I do know that LymphoPress, at least LymphoPress does have like a 5-year payment, no interest payment plan. Um, I found that out. I found that out when Brenda Viola, who's a consultant, came and talked to us the other day. Um, so so we don't know. Bobby asks about getting a headache with the pump, and we don't know what that might be. It could be pressure. I mean, it could be a number of things. Pressure's too high, um, possibly too long of a time, lymph flow not being going every direction. We don't know. We don't know. That would be something, Bobby, that um, you would need to discuss with your lymphatic therapist or your doctor, or possibly even your your lymph pump provider might have some help for you with that. One thing that we do know is none of us do this by ourselves. No.
Well, and Brenda mentioned, I watched that one the other day, and she said, if you're interested in a pump, just go on their website and send an email to them. And she said they will walk you through and help you get your insurance to cover. And
Yeah.
she said they will help you. So if you don't have a physical therapist, just contacting them saying I'm interested in one, and she made it sound like they will
Yeah.
help you through it.
They will. They walked me through mine,
Okay.
and you have to make sure you answer your phone. I I don't I don't like everything goes to my mailbox, my voicemail box, because I don't want to answer phone calls I don't recognize where they're coming from. You know, with the smartphone, my phone tells me potential spam or whatever. And so I'm like, "Bleh, no." Um, but they'll get you a caseworker. You know,
Mhm,
someone will work your case, and they do help you, and all you have to do is go to lymphopress.com. I
mhm.
put a link in there, um, and so we find that we do get help, but by golly, we've got to go search for it,
Yeah.
right? And while you're while you're telling us, Mary, while you're telling us where you search for your help, I'm going to. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's almost 8 o'clock, my time. I'm going to spout off a little bit. Spout off. I'm going to tell you guys about an event that's coming up. Now it's Tuesday, and this event starts Friday, so it doesn't start that far away from now. But Lipedema Simplified, we are having our first heart to heart event for 2023. Um, the heart to heart event that we had in 2022, which was in October, Mary was a patient panelist at. And this year, our first heart to heart event is going to be on this coming weekend. We're calling it a fresh take on lipedema and lymphedema solutions. A heart to heart, collaborative, 3-day virtual community event. Starts on March 31st. It's on April 1st and 2nd. And one of the reasons we call it a heart to heart is because it runs very similar to what we've been doing this morning. Mary and I are talking. My heart, her heart, we're communicating. We're talking to each other about things that are very close to us. And we're discussing things with our audience members who really want to be involved and get their questions answered. And we find that the wisdom is in the community. The wisdom is in the patient, as Dr. Carmody talks about all the time. And because of that, we are now holding a quote unquote, our symposiums are no longer symposiums. They're an event. They're a collaborative event where we get to talk to each other. Now, how can you sign up for this heart to heart event? I'm going to put in the comments the link so that you can sign up if you have not signed up yet. Please make sure that you get a chance to go to this link and click on it and see if it's something that you would like to do. The way this event works is we're keeping the price as low as we possibly can for you to attend. And for those people who would like to get replays, there's an option to become a VIP, and that gives you the replays and it gives you some more events. Because we want to reach as many people as we possibly can, we've separated those two things out. So you have your basic registration, your general access, and then an all access, which means you get replays also. What we've discovered is some people, they don't necessarily want the replay. And so we've separated those two pieces out. So I put it in the chat or in the comments. It's going to look like this. It's going to say heart to heart, and it's going to have a link. Just click on that link and look and see what's there and see if it's something that you would like to do. I know for me that connecting with the community makes a huge difference in my life. A huge difference. And so Cindy says, who do I talk to about upgrading to a VIP? She's already signed up for the event. If you ever need to talk to anybody at Lipedema Simplified for any of those things, let me give you the link. You'll see where it comes from. Let me find it. It's always so crazy because I got a lot of stuff back here in the background. But you can, this is where you go. Support at lipedema-simplified.org. Isla will get back to you. Isla is our support guru. She's pretty amazing. She will not only email you back, but if you need to talk to her one-on-one, she'll make sure she sets up a Zoom call with you or a WhatsApp. She's in the Philippines, but she's phenomenal and she'll help you at any time. So please make sure if you have any questions about anything to go to support at lipedema-simplified.org. Okay, let's see what else we have out here, Mary. If you see any questions in the comments that you want to talk about.
Well, and Bobby says, thank you for sharing info today. It's been very helpful. Everything I have learned has been from lipedemasimplified.org and the community. It's been invaluable. I don't know where I would be if I had stumbled on it, and I literally stumbled on it on Google.
Yeah.
So I'm just so grateful to everybody behind the scenes and the community for sharing, because as Dr. Carmody says, this is how we learn from each other, because this is uncharted territory. But it's growing. I had the television on last night, and Kathy Bates.
Yes.
There's this spot on, and they're talking about lymphedema, and she's she's promoting where to go find more information. I'm going, oh my gosh, it's happening. They're getting it out there. And so it's just exploding. And this group just is getting all the research and all the information out there. It's priceless.
Right. It is. And thank you for bringing up Kathy Bates is the spokesperson,
Yes.
is the celebrity spokesperson for
Is it Learn?
Learn,
Yeah.
LE&RN, which stands for Lymphedema
Mhm.
Education and Research Network.
Mhm.
And the president of Learn, Bill Rapici,
Mm.
is actually going to be one of our keynote speakers, because we discover as we live our lives and we move through all of this journey together, lipedema and lymphedema are closely related. They're connected. And so we do have, Maya says, have you explored the relationship between sleep apnea and edema? And actually, I believe that there are several studies out there that show that when you don't get a good night's sleep, you have more swelling. Um, so it has been, and I do know when I talk to several of our community members, they talk about, yeah, that mark on my face is for my CPAP, or,
I
you know,
have the same.
yeah,
I also have sleep apnea, and I never put the two together.
yeah.
That's interesting.
See, this is how the community
I know.
teaches us, oh, there is maybe there is a connection.
Yeah.
I'm not as swollen in the morning if I get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Huh. And it's because our bodies are working so hard to heal. This body of mine, she's been with me for 62 and a half years. And I do appreciate her. I really do. But it takes a long time to learn how to appreciate our amazing, wonderful bodies, because, we're so busy being bombarded with stuff from the outside world, and our bodies just want us to love them.
And to
So,
take care of ourselves.
yeah,
When I was growing up, to focus on yourself and your own self-care was called selfishness.
right.
And and not realizing if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be any good to yourself or anybody else.
Yeah.
And so that's, yeah.
Yeah, I was taught take no thought for what you shall put on or what you shall eat. That everything will be taken care of.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, yeah, no.
Doesn't work.
And maybe, like, I talked about earlier, we talk about later in life. So we do things in a childlike way for so long, and then later in life, as we realize that we have a lot of things to take care of, we do put ourselves to the side.
Mhm.
And then later in life, we realize, oh, honey, I'm sorry I didn't take good care of you, but I'm going to do it now.
Mhm.
I'm going to do it now.
Mhm.
Mary and everybody who's here, I'm so glad we spent this time together. Um, I'm going to end the broadcast here. Yes, restless leg syndrome. That it's very common with those of us with lipedema, the restless leg syndrome. I find that the better self-care I give my legs, the less restless they are. And not only that, is I do use CBD oil from our CBD consultant to calm my legs down. But that's a whole nother broadcast. We can go on forever. All of
Yes.
us have all of us have things that we have to do today. Or we have to get to bed if we're in depending on where we are. Um, Mary, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Before we go, if there's one message that you would like echoed around the world, what would it be?
I would say don't give up and keep trying everything. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. And that goes for everything, different self-care, compression. It's all so individual So just don't ever give up. And one thing I love, I've got it on my phone. I don't know how my story will end, but nowhere will it ever say she gave up. So don't give up. Just, it's frustrating and I know it's hard and it's challenging, but don't give up. Just keep moving forward.
Oh, Mary, that's wonderful. And it makes me think of a question that somebody had for us at the last webinar. She said, when do you just finally say, I've had enough?
Mm-mm.
You,
Never.
you don't. You
Mm-mm.
just keep going. And we need you here. We need you here sharing your wisdom with us. And we'll share our wisdom with you.
Yep.
We're in this together. So thank you so much, Mary. Remember,
Thank you guys. And thank you everyone who's here and who's going to watch this. And yeah, never give up. This was
and
wonderful.
yeah,
Thank
and
you.
Eileen, yes, CBD for lipedema. Check it out. Anybody send us messages. Send
Mhm.
us messages if you have questions. You can send it to that right down there. Support at lipedema-simplified.org or Gail, Gail, at lipedema-simplified.org. We are always willing to answer your questions and glean information and knowledge and wisdom from you. You are our community, and we love you. Have a great day, everybody.